Greetings everyone, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 1 of this week's Tech News, a bi-weekly series primarily covering open source, Linux, and cybersecurity developments. I'm very much looking forward to resuming this series after a nearly 6-year hiatus. We'll jump into our main story for the week. On February 26th, Mozilla introduced the terms of service and updated their privacy policy, whereas before they relied on the open source Mozilla public license for the browser. These new terms were outrageously phrased and warranted a lot of backlash, stating, "You give Mozilla all rights necessary to operate Firefox, including processing data as we describe in the Firefox privacy notice, as well as acting on your behalf to help you navigate the internet. When you upload or input information through Firefox, you hereby grant us a non-exclusive, royalty-free, worldwide license to use that information to help you navigate, experience, and interact with online content as you indicate with your use of Firefox." Now, considering that Firefox has always adhered to the open source model and holds its share of the market through its orientation around privacy, receiving its income from Google's search engine partnership, this raised questions of integrity. Furthermore, Mozilla changed their frequently asked questions page, removing their previous statement promising to never sell user data. This pretty much insinuates that Mozilla would be open to collecting and potentially selling user data, holding a license over it, and many have speculated that this policy was created to train AI slop. This change in policy makes future monetization of user data a possibility in the future, though there is no evidence to suggest Firefox has sold personal user data as of now. Mozilla also pushed an agreement use contract stating that they could revoke someone's access to Firefox, which is absolutely ridiculous. Like, oh boy, they're gonna revoke browser privileges for threatening to blow up the Twin Towers in Minecraft or running free V-Bucks scams. Mozilla has now walked back on this TOS, stating, "You give Mozilla the rights necessary to operate Firefox. This includes processing your data as we describe in the Firefox privacy notice. It also includes a non-exclusive, royalty-free worldwide license for the purpose of doing as you request with the content you input in Firefox. This does not give Mozilla any ownership in that content." The truth is, Firefox has already been collecting user data for its advertising programs. If you don't harden Firefox, you are exposed to services like Pocket and advertised website shortcuts on the front page. Alright, so to prove it and show you guys what I'm talking about, I'm going to go ahead and create a new profile in Firefox, so it'll be like as if we downloaded and opened Firefox from brand new, like a profile guest. And I'm going to go ahead and capture the packets inside of Wireshark as well. Go with LoWLAN 0, and we'll also apply a filter, being of course my own IP address. So I'm going to go ahead and start capturing, and open this inside of a new browser, as if we just installed it fresh, vanilla. You can see there's all this sponsored BS, Temu, actually I love Temu. And yeah, we have all this Matrix shit. Oh, and there's our thought-provoking stories. I was wondering how long it's going to take Pocket to load, but here it is. BBC, CBS, NPR, and yeah, okay. Wow, look at this, Get Pocket, BBC, Walrus, CBS. So we'll filter it by TCP. Yeah, look at all these different servers that we're contacting. There it is, Mozilla Cloudflare DNS. Yeah, you get the point. There's a lot of trackers and sites that we're resolving for advertisements and sending data to when we use vanilla Firefox. However, their policy states that this data is aggregated and made anonymous. As it turns out, the motive behind creating this TOS was to leave the legal gray zone that Mozilla was in regarding the CCPA and what it means to sell data. Now, currently there are issues regarding compliance to the CCPA from the side of Mozilla. The first one being the cut that Mozilla gets through shortcuts is considered as a sale if the user data has value. There is no do not sell data option in Firefox. Now, of course, there is a opt-out setting option under technical and interaction data within the settings of Firefox, but it's not as apparent as do not sell. Possibly the biggest concern is that the anonymized data can still be personal information, and it can be de-anonymized and traced back to a user, a particular user. So overall, not much has changed from a technical or operational standpoint. However, given Firefox's lifelong commitment to privacy and open source, these new attitudes are creating a vibe of uncertainty and distrust to Mozilla's future intentions. On one hand, of course, Mozilla's policy still states that they will not store browser history or personal data, only collecting telemetry and aggregating it. On the other hand, the possibility of user input being sold to third parties has been raised, and though I think it's unlikely as of now, Mozilla has already made so much profit from their search engine partnership, and the recent backlash should be all the more reminding to Mozilla. However, it makes sense that the open source community would not welcome this lack of commitment to the previous agreement, and it is very disappointing. In my opinion, drama aside, from a technical standpoint, there is no reason to stop using hardened Firefox yet, although it may be a good time to start looking for an alternative. Firefox is still the most preferable mainstream option, considering its committed community and lesser degree of spyware compared to Google Chrome, for example. It really is the only browser that's just like not shit that's open source. However, if you're uncertain about Firefox's future, there's also GNU IceCat, which is a completely free version of Firefox. It's a bit dated, but it's distributed by the GNU project. Otherwise, of course, you have degoogled Chromium, which is perfect for high performance. Personally, I distrust LibreWolf. It's uncertain how committed they are to patching vulnerabilities, and their development team seems to be over-politicized, and I don't trust their judgments on privacy. Oh yeah, and of course there's also Tor. In other developments, Bitcoin fell nearly 20% due to the Trump administration's plans to impose more tariffs on China, Canada, and Mexico. As to prevent the prices of goods from raising, the Federal Reserve raised its interest rates, which in microeconomics translates to investors investing less in CDs, stocks, and cryptocurrencies as a result. We saw the same pattern in 2022. The coin has already recovered somewhat at around 89,000, 90,000 as of the time of me recording. I believe we'll see more dips like this before we see raises, and if you think BTC is volatile, it'd be a time to buy it. Moving on, my favorite story of the week, PewDiePie becoming an Arch user. A few days ago, he took my advice and installed Arch with a window manager on his AMD laptop. You'll love to see it. Absolutely base setup. He went with Hyperland, and I got blowback last time I talked badly about Hyperland, so when I saw him use it, I decided to finally give it a try. And I kind of lost motivation setting it up 10 minutes in. Not that it was hard, it was way easier than DWM or i3 even. But I don't like that it incentivizes you to use Kitty. I don't like Waybar, and I couldn't bother patching dmenu to make it work with Waylands when I have a perfectly working i3 setup. All these window transitions and transparent terminals, they're not for me, unfortunately. And I'm not someone that's going to complain about bloat when I use a supercomputer with an RTX 3060 and a hex-core processor to run Linux. Regardless, it's inspirational to see PewDiePie adopting to the year the Linux desktop. And he's not even a super advanced computer user from what I've gathered, so if you're still on Winblows in the modern year, and you're making all these excuses about why you can't switch, PewDiePie uses Arch, so what's stopping you? Well, that's going to do it for this week's show. Thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode.